It was barely dawn, the clock nudging 5:30 a.m. On a crisp September morning in 2024, when I stepped onto my front porch in the quiet suburb of Willow Creek, Oregon. My coffee mug steamed in the cool air, and I was ready for the usual symphony of chirping sparrows and soft sunlight. Instead, I froze mid-sip. Across my lawn, a woman in a garish zebra print robe was jabbing her finger at my wooden fence while a construction crew hauled a steel gate off a flatbed truck. I rubbed my eyes, convinced I was still half dreaming. But there she was, Maureen, the infamous Homeowners Association, HOA, enforcer, clutching a stack of papers and barking orders at workers who looked as baffled as I felt. By 6 a.m., the crew had sliced into my fence, their drills screaming as they installed what was unmistakably an access gate leading straight to my backyard. By 7 o'clock, the gate clanged open, and by 8 o'clock, Maureen was strolling through with her yappy chihuahua, as if my private yard had just been declared a public plaza. By 9 o'clock, I realized this wasn't some petty HOA power trip. It was a calculated invasion. I stood there in my flannel pajamas, coffee gone cold, gripping the mug like it might anchor me to reality. My dog, Baxtera, 100-pound rescue with a bark that could rattle windows, was losing his mind behind the glass door, furious at this stranger breaching his domain. I calmed him down, took a deep breath, and marched out to confront the shiny new gate now carved into my property, flush against my rose bushes. Maureen, who was inspecting her dog's droppings with the intensity of a jeweler, glanced up and flashed a smile that could curdle cream. "Oh, good morning, Nathan. Isn't this gate just perfect? It's so convenient for the trail. I made sure the metal matches the HOA's signage, very cohesive, don't you think?" I blinked, dumbfounded. "You cut a gate into my fence. Into my backyard." She waved her papers dismissively. "It's a shared access point, technically. The HOA has an easement clause. Totally standard. It allows community access when needed." I snatched the papers and skimmed them. They were HOA bylaws. All right, but the clause she cited was about utility companies accessing underground lines, not building a personal shortcut for her morning dog walks. I pointed to the text. "Maureen, this says the HOA needs written notice and homeowner consent before altering private property." She laughed, the sharp, grating sound. "Oh, I didn't drill it myself, Nathan. The board approved it. You weren't at the last meeting. I was in Seattle for work." I shot back. "I never got a notice." She clapped her hands like I'd just solved the puzzle. "Exactly. You missed it, so we voted. We figured you wouldn't mind. It's for community flow." Right then, her chihuahua peed on my garden gnome, and she didn't even flinch. I turned away before my temper got the better of me, my jaw so tight I could feel my molars grinding. Inside, I called my old college friend, Carla, now a property lawyer in Portland. I snapped photos of the gate, the crew, and Maureen's smug face, then texted them to her with a desperate plea. "Tell me this isn't legal." 5 minutes later, Carla called, chuckling. "Oh, it's not legal. It's a lawsuit waiting to explode. They altered your fence, trespassed, and ignored due process. That's a triple threat of stupidity. Can I tear it out?" I asked. "Not yet," she said. "Document everything. Record every interaction. Don't touch the gate until we file a cease and desist. But trust me, you're holding a winning hand." That afternoon, I stood by the gate, phone recording in my pocket, as Maureen sashayed back through with a gaggle of HOA cronies. They trampled my lawn like it was a public park, one even cooing over my azaleas before crushing them underfoot. Maureen led the parade, gesturing at her shortcut like a tour guide. "It's so much faster than circling the block," she chirped. "The neighborhood will love this." I couldn't stay silent. "Maureen, this is my backyard, not a hiking trail." She laughed, waving me off. "Don't be so dramatic, Nathan. We're just being neighborly." I didn't argue. I let them leave, my phone capturing every word. That night, I walked my yard feeling violated. This wasn't just a gay tie, it was a theft of my space, a dare to fight back. As I sat with Baxter under the stars, staring at that gleaming gate, I knew Maureen thought she'd won. She was wrong. Carla stopped by with property maps, legal forms, and a bottle of bourbon. As we reviewed my options, she mentioned offhand, You could build a wall on your side. Under 8 feet, no permit needed, as long as it's on your land. It'd block her little shortcut. I laughed, but the idea took root. A wall. Not just any wall, towering, unyielding symbol of my right to my own space. By midnight, I was scouring city codes. Anything under 8 feet was fair game. I found a local crew specializing in overnight commercial builds, quiet, fast, discreet. I called them under a fake name, claiming it was a surprise for my girlfriend, and asked for an 8-foot brick wall in one night. They said it was crazy. I offered a bonus. They were in. The next day, I played the part of a diligent gardener, marking measurements with spray paint while Maureen pranced through my yard again. This time with a friend, both clutching iced lattes and ignoring me entirely. Baxter growled from the window, and I felt my resolve harden. That night, at 11 p.m., 2 trucks rolled up with their lights off. The crew, 4 guys in black work gear, moved like shadows. I showed them the plan, and they got to work. The gate was gone in minutes, dismantled and hauled away like it never existed. By midnight, the first bricks were laid. I watched, heart pounding, as the wall rose, brick by brick, a monument to defiance. By 4 a.m., it stood 8 feet tall, capped with elegant stone trim and a wrought iron trellis to soften its edges. A small brass plaque read, "Private property. No entry." It was perfect. At 7 a.m., Maureen appeared on the trail, Chihuahua in tow, humming obliviously. Then she saw it. Her jaw dropped, her dog yipped, and she stood frozen, staring at the red brick barrier where her gate once stood. I stepped onto my porch, coffee in hand. "Morning, Maureen. Nice day, huh?" She snapped out of her trance and stormed over, stopping short of the wall. "What is this?" she shrieked. "A wall," I said calmly. "You build a gate without permission." I clarified my property line. "This is illegal," she spat. "You'll regret this." I pointed to a laminated property map taped to the wall. "Actually, it's legal." Carla helped with the paperwork. 8 feet on my land meets all codes. She fumed, yanking her dog's leash, and stormed off. By noon, the HOA emailed me about an urgent meeting to discuss my modifications. Carla told me to ignore it unless it came by certified mail. I did. Neighbors started passing by, some curious, others grinning. One older guy named Tom gave me a nod. About time someone stopped her. That gate was her power trip. I realized Maureen's reign had annoyed more than just me. The HOA's retaliation was swift and petty. My mailbox overflowed with citations. Overgrown shrubs, unauthorized structure, even inappropriate seasonal decor for a ceramic frog by my pond. It was laughable, but it was also harassment. I sent everything to Carla, who drafted a cease and desist, backed by photos, videos, and Maureen's own text bragging about her community shortcut. I also caught her on my security camera, trying to pry off a decorative cap from my wall, only to trip over a vine and nearly faceplant. I posted the clip anonymously on Reddit, titled, "HOA Tyrant Tries to Wreck My Wall, Regrets It." It went viral, racking up thousands of views and comments dubbing her Brick Breaker Maureen. A local news outlet even ran a story, "When Neighbors Cross the Line," featuring the clip. At the next HOA meeting, Maureen arrived with a clipboard and a rehearsed speech, accusing me of destroying community access and cyberbullying. I let her talk, then stood with my binder of evidence. I laid out the timeline: her illegal gate, the trespassing, the misuse of HOA funds, the retaliatory citations. I played the video of her leading her posse through my yard, saying, "He's never home. It's fine." The room went silent. Carla followed, outlining the legal violations: trespass, property damage, harassment. She slid the cease and desist across the table like a checkmate. Maureen stammered, but the neighbors had had enough. One after another, they shared their own stories: fines for porch lights, threats over mailbox colors, even a kid cited for chalk drawings. The HOA president called for a review of Maureen's conduct. Her funds were frozen, her board privileges suspended. She left without a word, her face a mask of fury. The saga didn't end there. Maureen escalated, showing up at my door in a trench coat, demanding to inspect my yard. Then animal control arrived, claiming I had unlicensed goats. I showed them Baxter and my concrete pigs, and the officer laughed, knowing who'd filed the report. But when I caught Maureen on camera trying to vandalize my wall, I knew it was time to end it. I submitted the footage to the HOA, and they voted to bar her from meetings for 60 days and strip her authority. Weeks later, a for sale sign appeared in Maureen's yard. She moved out quietly, leaving a curt note wishing me luck in her shaky script. New neighbors, a young couple with a dog and a love for craft beer, moved in, laughing when I told them the wall's story. Life settled into a peaceful rhythm, the kind where you grill without checking for spies. The wall, now draped in blooming jasmine, became a neighborhood legend, whispered about by visitors who'd seen it online. But here's where it gets messy. Was I too harsh, building that wall overnight like a suburban fortress? Should I have tried talking to Maureen first? Or was her gated declaration of war that demanded a response? And what about the HO, or they just spineless? Or did they enable her out of fear? Drop your thoughts below. Did I go too far, or was this justice? Should HOAs have this much power, or are they just playgrounds for petty tyrants? Like, comment, and subscribe for more stories where boundaries, literal and figurative, get tested.